What if I told you the limits you believe in were never real? What if every wall you've ever hit was nothing but smoke? And every voice that told you, you can't, was only echoing their own fear? You are not weak. You are not average. You are not here to live small. You are here to rise, to break the chains of doubt, to silence the world's excuses, to step into the arena of greatness and claim what was always yours. History does not remember the cautious. It remembers the bold. It remembers the ones who looked at the impossible and said, "Watch me." And today, if you dare to decide, you will learn to become limitless. There comes a moment in every life when the soul whispers a question so powerful it cannot be ignored. What am I truly capable of? That whisper is not random. It is not an accident. It is the voice of potential, the eternal reminder that inside you exists a force greater than every limitation, every excuse, and every fear you've ever carried. But most people silence that voice. They drown it in distraction, in comparison, in doubt. They allow the world to tell them what they are worth, instead of deciding for themselves. And yet, history tells us another story. It tells us about ordinary men and women who refused to be defined by circumstance. Thomas Edison, born almost deaf, ridiculed as slow, gave light to the world. Abraham Lincoln, crushed by failure after failure, rose to unify a fractured nation. Henry Ford, a farm boy with little education, built machines that transformed human progress forever. What separated them from the countless others who settled for mediocrity? One decision: to become limitless in mind before they were limitless in reality. To learn to become limitless, you must first understand this. The walls you see around you were built in your own mind. They are not real. They are illusions, strengthened by repetition, cemented by the voices of those who settled, and reinforced by your own hesitation. You are not trapped by circumstance, you are trapped by belief. Break that belief and every chain falls away. But freedom does not come cheaply. The world demands proof of your desire. It will test your endurance, your courage, your faith in the invisible. It will whisper, "Who do you think you are?" And in that moment, your answer will decide everything. Because no one is born limitless. Limitlessness is forged in the fire of discipline, in the storms of failure, in the silence of vision, in the courage of relentless action. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the life you would live if nothing held you back. If fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood vanished from your chest. Imagine the health, the wealth, the relationships, the freedom, the mastery, the contribution you could bring to this world. That vision, that crystal clear picture, is not fantasy. It is the blueprint of what is possible when you decide to become limitless. But here is the truth too few ever face. Vision without belief is a dream that rots. Belief without action is a prison of delusion. And action without discipline is a wasted life of unfinished potential. To rise, to break boundaries, you must align all three: vision, belief, and disciplined action, until your daily habits echo your greatest ambitions. Look at Walt Disney. Fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Bankrupted in his early ventures. Mocked for dreaming of a magical kingdom. Yet he believed when no one else would. His vision became so vivid, so undeniable, that eventually the world had no choice but to build it with him. That is the secret. The world always resists at first, but it eventually yields to the man or woman who refuses to bend. So I ask you, what is the resistance in your life? Is it the voices of your family telling you to be realistic? Is it the weight of your past failures whispering that you are not enough? Is it the comfort of mediocrity, the seduction of good enough? You must decide here and now that these chains have no authority over your destiny. For as long as you bow to them, you will live half alive. And half alive is not why you were born. You were born to expand, to rise, to create. You were born to take the raw clay of your potential and shape it into something extraordinary. You were born to step into the arena, bruised and scarred, but unbroken, because you understand that life rewards the bold, not the timid. Understand this: your mind is a garden. Every thought you repeat is a seed. Most people plant weeds, thoughts of doubt, fear, comparison, scarcity, and then wonder why their life looks overgrown with struggle. But you are different. You must become the gardener of greatness. You must plant seeds of abundance, of courage, of mastery, of relentless self-belief. And like every farmer knows, you do not reap in the same season you sow. You water, you wait, you persist, until one day the harvest comes, and it is greater than you ever imagined. This is why clarity is your first weapon. Without a clear vision of who you intend to become, you drift. Drifting is death. Napoleon Hill called it the enemy's greatest tool. Men and women who live without definite purpose are like ships without a rudder, tossed by the winds of life, slaves to chance, victims of circumstance. But the man with a definite aim, the woman with a burning desire, cannot be stopped. The winds bend for them. The universe rearranges itself to assist them. So write the vision. Burn it into your mind until it glows like fire behind your eyes. Let it become so strong that you can feel it before it exists. Let it dominate your thoughts when you wake, when you walk, when you work, when you sleep. And when doubt rises, as it always will, return to the vision. Hold it tighter, because the clearer your destination, the straighter your path. And yet clarity alone is not enough. You must cultivate discipline, the rarest currency of this age. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Discipline is the power to say, I will do what I must, not what I feel. Discipline is what turns a man into a master, a woman into a legend. Without it, dreams are fantasies. With it, fantasies become empires. Think of Edison. 10,000 failures before the first light bulb. 10,000. Imagine the discipline required to face rejection, ridicule, financial ruin, and still return to the lab with burning eyes. That is what becoming limitless demands. To walk through valleys where most give up, to endure winters that freeze lesser souls, to keep moving forward when every muscle in your body screams to stop. Because here lies the paradox. Freedom is found in discipline. The man who refuses discipline becomes a slave to his weakness, his impulses, his excuses. But the man who embraces discipline becomes free to build, to create, to rise, to live by design instead of default. That is the doorway to limitlessness. So let me tell you the truth that may sting but will set you free. The life you want is already possible. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. But it requires the death of your excuses, the burial of your old self, the courage to rise into someone you have not yet been. Discipline alone, however, is not enough if it is not aimed at something higher than comfort or survival. For discipline without purpose is like a sword swinging blindly in the dark. It may cut, but it does not conquer. Purpose is what sharpens the blade, what gives every sacrifice meaning, what transforms every act of discipline into a step toward destiny. You must ask yourself, why do I rise? Why do I fight? Why do I endure? For the man without purpose will crumble at the first sign of resistance. But the man with a purpose so clear, so burning, so deeply engraved in his soul, he becomes unstoppable. Pain cannot break him. Failure cannot define him. Rejection cannot silence him. Look at Lincoln, who buried his children, lost countless elections, faced devastating depression, yet carried within him one purpose: to preserve the Union. That purpose pulled him through storms that would have destroyed lesser men. Look at Gandhi, who walked unarmed against an empire because his purpose was greater than his fear. Look at Martin Luther King Jr., who stood on the steps of Washington and declared a dream so bold it shook a nation. Purpose transforms ordinary people into immortals. So what is yours? Not the shallow desires of ego, not the temporary pleasures of comfort, but the purpose that pulls from your soul. It is not found in the noise of the world, but in the silence of your own heart. Purpose whispers in the moments when you ask, what is my life for? Listen to that whisper, for it is the voice of your higher self calling you into greatness. And once you find it, once you grasp it, you must hold it like a torch through every storm. For storms will come. They always do. The path to becoming limitless is not paved with ease. It is carved with struggle. And this is where resilience becomes your greatest ally. Resilience is the art of rising when life hurls you to the ground. Resilience is refusing to surrender when your dreams seem shattered, when your plans collapse, when the people you trusted walk away. The resilient soul looks at defeat and sees only training. The resilient heart looks at rejection and hears only redirection. Consider Henry Ford again. Before the Model T, before the assembly line, he faced bankruptcy multiple times. Factories collapsed, investors pulled out, competitors mocked him. But resilience carried him forward. Because he understood what so many forget.